Shabbat Shalom. Welcome from Westchester Reform Temple's live stream of our Kabbalat Shabbat services. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Blake. Want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom, all the people in your home Shabbat Shalom, and everybody who's tuning into our live stream. We wish all of you Shabbat Shalom. I'm joined tonight by Rabbi David Levy and by two interns who have worked at Westchester Reform Temple for the last year, Sasha Bacon, who is in an in-between time of rabbinical school, completing her third year of studies and just about officially to begin her fourth year of studies as soon as those finals are done. And our cantorial intern, Isaac Sonnet Asor, who is also in the in-between time, completing his second year of cantorial school, about to start his third year. And speaking of in-between times, the Jewish people are also in an in-between time. We are in between the two great spring festivals of Pesach, which was observed last month, and Shavuot, which is going to be observed at the very tail end of May. And in fact, on Monday night, we will observe the 33rd day in between Passover and Shavuot. That 33rd day is called Lag BaOmer. I'll say more about that at the end of our worship tonight. But we are, in fact, in this in-between time that has a special name on the Jewish calendar. It is called Omer, which is the word for a barley sheaf, an offering of grain that used to be brought up each and every day for the 7 weeks between Passover and Shavuot in biblical times. And in recognition of that ancient custom, Jewish people continue to count off day by day from the second day of Pesach until Shavuot has arrived, marking a journey from freedom from bondage all the way to when our people stood at Sinai to receive the Torah. And we are also, each one of us, in a kind of in-between time in our lives and in the story of human civilization. Just about 7 weeks ago, everything we knew was upended by a virus that we now know is fatal and serious and does not yet have a cure. And each and every day we've been counting. 1 day in quarantine, 2 days at home alone, 3 days without having gone to the office, 4 days without having worn anything but pajamas, 5 days of homeschooling my children, 6 days of running the dishwasher twice a day, and on and on and on. But these days of counting with no real end in sight have also been days for appreciating blessings. One more day where I've had an extra meal with my loved ones that I didn't anticipate. Another day where I've actually spoken with people in my family who've thought to call me, even though we didn't used to speak that often at all. And on and on and on. This in-between time is actually a time not necessarily to look to the horizon. I know that we are asking the question, when are things going to go back to the way they were? But the spiritual discipline of the Omer is to invite us to ask, what can I do with this day? How can I make this day count? So will you, in that spirit, look at the people you are sharing the Shabbat with? Maybe they are in your home with you, or maybe they're just on the screen. If you are able to reach out and hug someone, please do. Wish that person Shabbat Shalom, even as we wish you Shabbat Shalom. And then together, we are going to kindle lights for Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to add to Rabbi Blake's comments that in a way, this lighting is much more intimate than it used to be because we now have the vision of everybody's homes right behind us. And with that, we continue with Lechu Neranena.
Maria, We continue now with the Psalm for Shabbat. Adonai.
If able, we rise for the Baruch.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. One of the central blessings that leads us into the Shema is the blessing over God's eternal love, Ahavat Olam. I've been thinking a lot about these words throughout this entire period, and in particular this week, as it feels that as the days and the weeks continue on, and sometimes the situation, we feel that we don't know when everything in our lives may return to some kind of normal, and things can feel lost at times. And I've been thinking about this idea that through everything that we are enduring, that God's love is something that stays with us in any way that may manifest itself, whether that means from the love and support from friends or from Jewish teaching or any other source of comfort. And so to honor these words, I wanted to share with you a newer melody by the great cantor Benji Schiller. This is a new melody for the words Ahavat Olam, everlasting love. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amecha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נחכה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובמשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, גורת תהילות אוסף פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה עלינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרינו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרינו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. לשלום, והעמידנו שומרינו לחיים, והעמידנו שומרינו ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת We continue with the Amidah. We invite you to rise if you are able. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Adonai, Sefat Tiftach, Ufi Yadid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר, מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. בנאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We turn inward, praying silently the words in our hearts.
Amen.
Over these past few months in quarantine, I've engaged in conversations with congregants in which we have grappled with the cause of our current afflictions and their relationship to God. During times of crisis, what are we to think of God? Even if we do not consciously believe in a God who could be such a destructive force, we might not help but feel like this pandemic is a form of punishment. Rabbi Harold Kushner, in his book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People, argues that the Bible comes not to teach us theology, that is, who God is, but to teach us who God wants us to be. For this reason, he named his book When and not Why Bad Things Happen to Good People. The so-called bad is inevitable, but what do we do with it? Rabbi Kushner implores us to shift our thinking from why would God or some power in the world do this to how can we respond? Coronavirus is emblematic of our inability to control external forces in our lives. Yet our Jewish tradition reminds us that we have control over personal efforts toward our mental and spiritual wellness. When we read about sacrifices in the book of Leviticus, we need not harp on the reality that animal sacrifice no longer exists, but rather, we can strive to understand why our ancestors pursued this behavior. For them, these were their responses to life. Just as they participated in ordered rituals, we too can create life practices and rituals with organization to preserve our sanity. In this week's Parshat Emor, we are introduced to the Ner Tamid, an eternal light that the entire Israelite community must kindle and preserve. God tells Moses, Tzav et b'nei Yisrael v'yikehu elecha shemen zayit zach katit lama'or laha'alot ner tamid. Command the Israelite people to bring you clear oil of beaten olives for lighting, to cause a lamp to burn eternally. Our sages often suggest that what precedes a phrase or a parsha informs us of the latter text meaning. Just before we read about the Ner Tamid, our holy flame, we learn about God's fixed times for celebration and the divine's ordered instructions as to how one must observe these holy occasions. If we were to apply the sage's technique here, using the prior text to clarify the preceding verse, it would seem that maintaining order in life can preserve our everlasting flame, the Ner Tamid. Over the course of history, rabbis have likened this Ner Tamid both to the essence of God as well as to the souls of human beings. Thus, whoever wrote the Torah understood that for humans to manage constant spiritual connection, whether it be with themselves or a divine spirit, they would need to allot specific times for work, play, prayer, and so on. Perhaps these rituals do not demand we follow exactly what is written, but rather, or in conjunction with, they act as a charge to structure our lives so that we may sustain our spiritual, emotional, and physical energy. During a pandemic like the coronavirus, burnout constantly knocks on our door. Rarely do we have physical separations from work, eating, sleeping, and family time anymore. The spaces we used to occupy have collapsed on top of each other like folding chairs, cramping us into one area. This week's Parsha comes at a perfect moment as it prompts us to find organized balance during complete chaos. It persuades us to create order in our lives so that we may sustain the flames of our souls and therefore our communities. In Parshat Emor, we are commanded not to work for at least one day of each holiday, a directive most of us are unfamiliar with. The text lists edicts to calendar special diets and to construct art projects like preparing the sukkah. These rulings have evolved into rituals that maintain our sense of connection to Judaism, each other, and to the divine. Rituals are not only categorized as sacrifice and prayer. These acts can be finding moments in our days that are set for us as individuals or with friends and family away from work. If we are feeling particularly unmotivated, Rituals can look like making our beds, getting dressed as we normally would, or constructing a makeshift desk, like the mini pool table I'm using at home, to set boundaries between us and our kitchen countertops. We can try activities like journaling, so that we may process our thoughts while in isolation, a time in which our brains run rampant into new crevices we have yet to explore. And if some of us find that we are obsessively ordering our lives, because like our ancestors, we desire control over factors beyond our reach, our rituals may play with disorder. There is a silver lining to chaos. Disorder prompts us to live our lives differently, to check in with ourselves about what can change. When we have disorder, we often gain creativity and spontaneity. We can let our children make their own beds, or erase one chore we've told ourselves we must do, and instead fill it with empty space. If any of you have taken time during quarantine to Marie Kondo your home, you'll recognize that before ordering our spaces, we must collect our possessions into one area, completely revealing the mess. For those of us who have an over-attachment to control, it may be valuable to spend more time with the clutter. Together, we are embarking on an unprecedented journey with still many unknowns. It is more important now than ever to experiment with rituals that can generate structure in our lives. According to Parshat Emor, order can help us sustain our spirits and perhaps that of the divine. If we can shift our minds from why God or why world to what can we do, maybe we can accomplish a sense of balance to preserve our spirit, our Ner Tamid, becoming ever more present for ourselves and those around us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom and Yasher Koach. I want to say just a few words, because this week we are not just welcoming Shabbat, but also the little-known holiday of Pesach Sheni. And if you see Rabbi Blake smiling, it's because I've been talking about this holiday for a while now. That's because in the Torah, we learn of a group of people who were unable to observe Passover because of a plague. Coincidence, I assure you. The group implores Moses and God to give them a chance, a second Passover opportunity, and every year it falls on this day. I share this with you for many reasons, but primarily because we are lucky enough to have Sasha as a part of our community because of her own self-advocacy, not because of a plague, but out of a desire to better understand WRT as a Jewish professional and not just as a resident of Scarsdale, to teach and to learn as a student and as a growing rabbi. So for the past 2 years, we've been lucky enough to have Sasha on our team. This will be Sasha's last Friday night as one of our rabbinic interns, but it will not be the last time we see Sasha here at WRT. We are lucky to have the whole Bacon family as members of our congregation. And I bet Scott and Ellen are joining us tonight as well, although it's hard to tell who's here through Zoom. Sasha, on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your loving work with our 5th graders last year, helping them find the beauty of Jewish life through the occasional game of Jewish basketball. Thank you for working diligently with our teens as they try to forge their own Jewish future. Thank you for your words of wisdom here on our Bima tonight and many nights, and for being the warm, steady presence at Torah study. Thank you for encouraging us to engage with Musar, the original self-help book, and help us all to be better versions of ourselves. Sasha, we know this is not goodbye. It's simply see you soon. See you soon when we can gather together in person and celebrate the gifts you brought to our community. See you soon when we can celebrate the rabbi you will become. And of course, don't forget that we're all here to support you if you need us. Thank you, Sasha. My last words are the importance of support in our professional goals, but really right now I want us to turn to the need for support for all of us who are hurting. hurting for a hurting world, and hurting because people we love are sick and in need of healing. I know our congregational community is thinking of so many people, but I want to share a few with us aloud, and I know many of us are sharing so many in our own hearts. Lawrence Smith, Nicole Shusi, Ray Josell, Rivka Batsura, Amelia Austin, Leah Greenspan, Aviva Tzila Bat Esther Bela, Dan Sokoloff, Jeffrey Millman, Chava Batsara, Eliyahu Chaim Ben Fredel, Sheila Fried, Tanya Romanoff, Yitzchak Yona Ben May, Yaakov Hirsch Ben Rachel, Malka Tzipora Bas Rachel, Tamar Bat Malka, Avraham Ben Miriam, David Tremsky, Heschel Meir Ben David Chana, and all those we hold in our hearts. Please bring out of your hearts the words of Misha Berach as we sing them.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. As we began our service with an acknowledgement of this in-between time, this time called Omer, which, by the way, is instructed in this week's Parasha Emor. We learn about the counting of the Omer. We are instructed to count off 50 days, 49 each day, in between Pesach and Shavuot. So too do we bless over the Omer counting tonight. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us to count the Omer. Hayom shloshim yom, shehem arba'a shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. The 15th of Iyar today is 30 days, which are 4 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. And that means that we are just 3 days away from the 33rd day of the Omer, which will begin Monday at sundown and will be observed all day Tuesday. That day is called Lag BaOmer. It is considered to be a break in the Omer, which itself is a serious and even somber period on the Jewish calendar in which weddings are not conducted. Traditionally, men do not shave their beards. But for one day, haircuts and weddings are permitted. And we are going to honor Lag BaOmer at WRT with a special sunset study session with our dear friend and teacher, Rabbi Jan Katsu, who presently is the director of the rabbinical program of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion on the Cincinnati campus, and a former member with his family of Westchester Reform Temple. So please come on to Zoom Monday evening. The link is on our website for a little bit of study with Rabbi Katsu as we welcome Lag BaOmer and learn about one of the signature persons associated with this time of year, Rabbi Akiva, the great 2nd century sage, whose teachings about love and God and Torah continue to inspire the direction of our Jewish lives today.
We continue with Aleinu. You may rise if you're able. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We who are given the gift of life, no matter how short or long it happens to be, do best by imbuing its every moment with meaningful actions that are complete, whole, and innocent. If we can have the strength to do so, and it is far from easy, then we too can one day face death with deeds that speak to our lives' goodness and the way we lived it well. Those words were offered lovingly by our teacher and friend, Rabbi Dr. Aaron Pankin of blessed memory, who we remember this week, along with many more people whom we have loved and lost in these past 4 weeks and in years gone by. So if you are within the first week of mourning your loved one, would you please rise? If you're within the first 30 days of mourning your loved one, would you please rise? If you're within the first year of mourning your loved one, would you please rise? And if tonight is the yard site of your loved one, I invite you now to rise. And if you're able, I invite us now all to rise in sympathy and fellowship as we remember. We begin by remembering those most recently taken from us. Marco Fernandez, father of Anna Cortez, Lila Kaplan, mother of Donna Rabin, Kenny Kaplan, Mark Kaplan, and Karen Zelikoff. Kay Anna Kodesh, grandmother of Sean Kodesh. Judy Gold, aunt of Scott Silberfein. Suki Jacobs, mother of Rabbi Rick Jacobs. Jeffrey Escher, husband of Monique Escher and father of Max and Sam Escher. Maxine Meyer, sister of Margie Miller and aunt of Bob Miller. Philip Duretsky, father of Vicki Elkins. Joan Mark, mother of John Geverts. Donald Sheroff, husband of Marilyn Sheroff and father of Leslie Dubner and Gary Sheroff. Howard J. Dugoff, father of Julie Waxman. Alex Sussman, brother of Barbara Rowan. Stephen Cohen, uncle of Robert Mitchell. William Mantell, uncle of Jordan Barrow. Daniel Kestenbaum, father of Robert Kestenbaum. Paul Corrins, uncle of Janet Corrins and cousin of Bruce Steinberg. Dorothy Sarrett, mother of Linda Sarrett. Ken Safian, husband of Naomi Gross. Erica Cohen, aunt of Kate Levy. Ann Bernstein, mother of Diane Loft. Louis Adele, mother of Barbara Alexander and Patricia Adele. Those are all whom we have lost in the past 4 weeks. And the yard site, the anniversary of their passing, we remember Joel Ammerling, Edward Blackman, Sidney Bowman, Albert Chadroff, Erwin Cohen, Anna Crone, Abe Dubrow, Patricia Fisher, Leon Fish, Marion Freeman, Eleanor Gardner, Edward Gitlin, Ted Gluck, Evelyn Goldberg, Molly Ann Goldstein, Bruce Gould, Alfred Koretsky, Sylvia Greenberg, Leon Hendy, Paula Hoffman, Charlotte Jonas, Max Plout, Nina Katz, Alan Capel, David Korek, Joan Lappin, Sylvia Levinson, Eva Makoff, Jay Malice, May Malice, Jerry Marcus, Beatrice Meltzer, Lillian Goldman Michaels, Nella Mitnick, Leah Nelson, Anita Newman, Rabbi Aaron Penkin, Jean Pritch, Ruben Resnick, Linda Rosier, Claire Rosner, Gary Stephen Saltz, Sydney I. Scheuer, Gertrude Schwartz, Morton C. Shore, David Stamler, Elise Stern, Abraham Stock, Muriel Sturman, Sylvia Udall, Eleanor Weinrich, and Melvin Weisenthal. We now continue our service with the words of Kadisha Tome. You can find them on the screen in front of us. And if you have names that you want to add, please say them in your hearts. And if I inadvertently mispronounced a loved one's name, please say it as well as we continue with the words of Kadisha Tome. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ramei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kucha brechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, d'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, Amen.
Just a few announcements before we conclude our service, some things to keep your eye out for in the coming week. I'm actually going to start at the end of the week and work my way backwards. Next Friday night, I hope that you'll join us as we have a chance to honor our annual Brotherhood Award winner. This year, it's Joan Tabak Frankel, and we're so excited for her to share some words of Torah from here on Zoom and with all of us next Friday at 6:15. That morning, we also invite you to join for a bit of pre-Shabbat movement, meditation, and mindfulness at 9:15 in the comfort of your own home. Bring your own yoga mat. And then similarly, moving backwards, on Tuesday, we'll have a lecture by Yoel Magid, our former executive director, on Homo Deus. Will humankind be replaced by a smarter species? And after that, Jewish Thought in America, a new anthology and some big questions. And after that, on Tuesday, Cantor's Coffee House, there's a lot happening on Lag BaOmer, including what Rabbi Blake already mentioned. But most importantly, what's happening tomorrow, which is we still have a few more weeks of Sasha joining us at Torah Study. So if you want to learn about the weekly Torah portion, Sasha is leading tomorrow, beginning at 9:30 a.m. with some coffee and conversation, with study starting promptly at 9:45 a.m. Rabbi, anything you want to add?
Sure. The entire clergy, staff, and congregation of Westchester Reform Temple also wants to extend a very heartfelt Mazal Tov to Danielle Rudnitsky. Some of you have quote unquote met Danielle, but only through the same medium of online community. Danielle will be entering as the assistant cantor of Westchester Reform Temple on July 1st. Please God, we'll be able to see her in person shortly thereafter. But in the meantime, Danielle and her classmates, both cantors and rabbis, are going to celebrate their ordination. Of course, the actual ritual will be conducted on Zoom this Sunday, and at a later date, the class will gather in person to receive ordination blessings. But it will be official as of this Sunday that our Danielle Rudnitsky will be ordained a cantor, and to her and all of her classmates, we wish the heartfelt mazel tov of our entire WRT family.
Thank you, Rabbi. So we conclude with just, I'm not sure what we're concluding with. I'll turn to Isaac.
It's the whole Isaac show tonight. Isaac, what are we ending with? And by the way, so nice to see Caroline. This is Caroline's sonnet Asor. If you didn't put it together, she and Isaac go together. How are we concluding our service, Caroline and Isaac?
We've got her trapped here in the Rochelle.
Fantastic.
Very lucky. We're just going to conclude with a nigun to the melody for Debbie Friedman's Shalom Aleichem as just words of blessing and gratitude for Sasha, and just to highlight the idea that we are saying to welcome the angels in, and then we ask them to bless us and say, please come again, shuvachem l'shalom, please come again in peace. And
we happen to know where the entire Bacon family likes to sit in our sanctuary. So, Sasha, we expect to see you on all of those Shabbatot and festivals where you're not serving the Jewish people of your own.
Will do.
Mazel tov. Thank you, Sasha.
La, 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 la.